Welcome to Twin Flicks, and welcome to, well, I guess I'm going to call it season 2, because we did have a season 1 officially, technically. But this is Two Guys and a Movie. We originally started this back in 2022, in July, and just circumstances came up and weren't able to continue the show. And I put out the second episode just a few weeks ago. So we had a 3-year...
Yes.
It makes me feel like those movies that come out 40 years, the sequel comes out 40 years later. I put out the episode 30 years later.
Gotta thank the GoFundMe page and the petitions, all the people that wanted Two Guys movie to return. We are back.
I want to say thank you, because there are some fans out there that were asking me periodically throughout the years, are you bringing it back? So, yeah, we're back. But right now we're starting a 6-episode season. So I choose 3 movies, Dan chooses 3 movies, and then each week we'll go back and forth between
we rotate each week.
Yeah.
This week was my pick.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell the folks out there what you picked.
Rear Window. L.B. Jeffries, played by James Stewart, is a professional photographer who's confined to a wheelchair with a broken leg. He becomes obsessed watching the private lives of his neighbors, leading him to suspect one of them has murdered their wife. The voyeuristic investigation begins with his girlfriend, Lisa, played by Grace Kelly. From 1954, Rear Window, directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
Classic movie.
And it was I thought it was a big smash because you look at budget was $1 million.
Uh-huh.
It made 27 or so. But you inflate that number, that's a $27 million budget and a $300 and some million box office. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. I'm looking at Box Office Mojo right now, and it shows domestic was 37 million, a little over 37 million, and worldwide was closer to 38 million. It doesn't for some reason doesn't give the budget, but you said it was about 1 million. Yeah. So that was a smash hit, and it kind of reminds me, Alfred Hitchcock, he was the GOAT back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, up until the 70s. He was, and I want to say he was probably one of the first star directors, because people went to go see his movie, Alfred Hitchcock movie. Same like people go see a Christopher Nolan movie today because it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Back in the day, people saw Hitchcock because it was a Hitchcock movie. And,
he is the master of suspense.
Yeah. We don't need to go into all about how it's still felt down into today, because I'm sure everybody knows. You still feel the way he makes his movies, even down till today, his filmmaking style.
Oh yeah. This came out around the time, I think it might have been near the height of his power too. There's that nice run where it's like Psycho, North by Northwest, Vertigo was after Rear Window, but Rear Window and The Birds, those movies are always packaged together on physical media, and that's sort of the most popular films. Exactly. Those are usually the most popular films of Hitchcock. So this is the height of his power. Oscar nominated for Best Director, and there was 4 nominations total, and the other ones were technical and writing.
Yeah, wow.
And I was surprised it wasn't up for Best Picture, to be honest.
But it was up for Best Director.
Yeah.
I never understand that, how they can put Best Director but not Best Picture, or Best Picture not Best Director.
Do you want to know who won that year?
Who did win?
The Country Girl, who also starred Grace Kelly. And Grace Kelly won Best Actress that year.
Really? And a movie that, to this day, nobody's probably ever heard of. And
they had another movie together come out before Rear Window, 3 months before. So Dial M for Murder came out in May 54. Really? And then Rear Window came out in August 54. That's crazy.
So he had 2 movies coming out. That reminds me of Spielberg, where he works on 2 movies at one time. Hitchcock did the same thing, it sounds like.
And Grace Kelly was in all 3 of those, and she won the Oscar for the one that wasn't Hitchcock. That's crazy.
That is nuts. That's
how much the industry's changed. You would not have that kind of quality of movies back to back. Like
No,
these
no,
days,
no,
yeah,
no,
you're
not
lucky
at
to get
all.
a couple of them.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, so Rear Window is a classic.
Definitely.
However, I was looking up some negative reviews. I thought it'd be fun just to
Yeah.
check out some negative reviews. These aren't back when the film was released. These are newer reviews. But I thought I'll just share some with you. This one's from 2005.
Okay.
2-star rating
Wow.
from Insomniac X. And he says, it would be a good thriller in which a protagonist is never in danger, which doesn't make it a good thriller. And it is uncertain whether anything is at stake until the final 5 minutes of the film, where Hitchcock violates his own theory of suspense.
Hmm.
And he says it's arousing only mildly curiosity instead. The film's inciting incident also takes place just minutes before its conclusion, forcing the audience to spend most of the runtime wondering where the story is or what is happening. And I was bored, and I was bored until the last 10 minutes.
Wow.
It gets even better.
Okay.
This is from a year ago. Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window falls flat on numerous fronts, leaving audiences with a sense of deep disappointment rather than suspenseful satisfaction. One might expect from the master of suspense himself to make a suspenseful movie, but this is just a boring dud.
Wow.
The film fails to live up to its reputation.
Interesting.
This is insane. From 2024, Jason B. I don't know why people like this movie so much. Jimmy Stewart is a great actor, but the character he plays here is a very nosy and dumb and stupid, jerky character. Grace Kelly doesn't act at all. She's very wooden and flat. She's just there to look pretty. The plot is convoluted. It's ridiculous. I feel dirty after watching this movie where I need to take a shower. Grace Kelly's character was beyond cringe. Did not like the movie, but he gave it a 2.5. He didn't like the movie, but he gave it a 2.5.
Is that out of 4?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's like fresh, right? I mean, technically.
Oh, 5. 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, still though, it's about a 3, which is still a good movie. But yeah, so that was a couple of the bad reviews that I was looking up here. Man,
I would argue that, going back to the inciting incident being the last 10 minutes, I disagree with that. It's definitely a character piece for me. It's all about LB Jeffries, because he's got this dilemma and he doesn't want to get married. He's got that dilemma. He's got this injury from the racetrack.
Yeah.
And he's cooped up in his apartment. He's struggling to be sane, actually, because there's no air conditioning. He's trying to itch himself. He's sweating. He's bored out of his mind.
Yeah.
So what else is there to do? People have their blinds open. Might as well watch.
Yeah. He doesn't have an Xbox, a PlayStation 5.
A phone. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a mobile phone that he can sit and scroll TikTok with.
Exactly.
First, I want to point out, though, is that James Stewart is my all-time favorite actor. I love James Stewart. Humphrey Bogart is up there, too. And then I'll say Harrison Ford. But I just love James Stewart. And I was looking up, I found this quote from Ebert, Roger Ebert, and this is perfect. James Stewart is the most extraordinary, ordinary guy. That's what I love about him. He's not a superhero. He's not, he's just an ordinary guy. He always has a sense of humor. He's always charismatic. I love his voice. Mm-hmm. He's just so easy to watch and listen to. And he's a phenomenal actor as well. And not everybody says It's a Wonderful Life, but I always go to Harvey.
Yeah.
Incredible film, incredible performance. And he has range. He's done westerns, but yet he's also done movies like this where he's paranoid or going crazy, and he,
he can play in the romance too, Philadelphia Story.
yeah,
And the Thin Man. I think he starred in that one. He's a villain in that one. Like the Thin Man 2, I believe. That's when he got this big break.
Exactly.
But yeah, and the Frank Capra used him a lot. Hitchcock used him 4 times.
Yeah,
he's a legend.
Yeah. I love James Stewart. But I did want to go back to what you were saying about the opening, and this is what I love about true filmmaking.
Yeah,
you don't need some kind of long exposition. You don't need flashbacks throughout the film detailing who this person is, what happened to him, how did he break his leg. Instead, Hitchcock used what all great directors uses, and that is the importance of visual language.
Yep.
So when he sees the apartment, I believe it pans out of showing the neighborhood or the apartment complex, but then it pans over the wall. You see photographs, and they're stunt photographs or action photographs, I guess, of war, explosions. There's a race car that's coming at him that he takes a picture of. And then also it shows his broken camera sitting on the table. And then and the last thing you see is a stack of magazines.
I thought it was his cast. It ended on maybe his feet, maybe or something.
But panning across the work, the
right.
magazines, and then it does the cast. And so, you don't. And then he goes on the phone and he talks to his friend or publicist or agent, whoever he is, and he just very simply. His friend on the line says, well, you stood too close to the car. You shouldn't have done that. And then, they do some banter back and forth. So they never specifically say, this is what happened. You don't get flashbacks. You pick everything up visually from just the first few seconds.
And it's so quick, too. Yeah, exactly. It's so quick, too. Exactly. I mean, it's just, you get so much information. The injury, the hot girlfriend, everything is just right there.
Yeah, his girlfriend is that Grace Kelly? Is that the girl on the magazine? So you get it, even without saying it, you get a sense. Well, that somehow this is all related to him, and like what you're saying, he's so bored, he has nothing to do but watch his neighbors, and he becomes fixated on an obsession. It becomes an obsession on watching these neighbors, and particularly one girl.
And it's no different than nowadays. People watch reality TV. People are always watching people play video games.
Yeah,
we're doing the same stuff online, voyeuristically.
Right, TikTok.
Yeah,
it's all voyeurism.
Yeah.
What I love, though, a scene that I absolutely loved, I always love the scene, is when he's watching the woman across from him, and she is made up, puts on a dress, and sits down, has dinner, making like she has, I don't know, her husband or boyfriend there, and he starts mimicking what she's doing as if he's having dinner with her.
Exactly.
I love that, and
Miss Lonely Heart. I mean, she has her own storyline throughout too. It's assumed already visually. Hitchcock is telling us that this woman is a widow.
Yes.
And she's longing for her lost husband and having trouble moving on. And eventually she does throughout the film, which is great to see as like a subplot.
Yeah. I mean, everything you need to know about the characters, about the film, is right there within the first, not even 10 minutes, within the first.
Same thing with Miss Torso.
Yeah.
She's an attractive woman working out in her apartment, and then she has all these men over, womanizers, that she ends up with her boyfriend being in the military.
Yeah. I love that at the ending. Yeah. That's a perfect ending. And what's hilarious is that she's ready to hug him and make out with him, but yet he's like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I want some food.
Exactly.
Give me some food, babe.
And then you have the couple that sleep on the mattress outside, and then you have the other couple that's newlywed, and they're having a lot of sex.
Yeah, and the woman that keeps does she keep losing her dog, or her dog keeps running, and so all these people have their own little backstory.
Exactly.
And again, they don't need any kind of like flashbacks or exposition. It's using visual language.
Minimal dialogue too. It's just, we're just watching what happens.
And that might be why some people think it's boring. But I mean, it's no more boring than sitting in a park and watching people walk back and forth, or on TikTok, you're not interacting with them except for maybe comments. But what I love too is that as he starts becoming more and more obsessed with watching the neighbors, so do we.
Oh yeah.
And it's because, again, going back to the great acting and also the characters, even the neighbors, they're all great characters. They all have something to do, and so we start being obsessed with what's happening as much as James Stewart is.
And then Hitchcock does this thing where the audience somehow gets ahead of Jimmy Stewart because he falls asleep, and we continue to watch the suspect and leaves with his wife, and so we're kind of ahead of Jimmy Stewart. So it's kind of provides us suspense, so we know that he's going to find out and get there eventually.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting how Hitchcock put us ahead of the main character there.
And I think that's really one of the first bits of tension.
Yeah.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but and then the other part of tension is when I believe he's sleeping, if I'm not mistaken, and all of a sudden you hear glass break, and then a scream. And what's awesome, Hitchcock does not show anything.
Right.
He doesn't show a shadow of some guy with a knife coming down. He doesn't show any kind of silhouettes of people fighting. It's just so simple as a glass break, a loud scream, and then it fades out.
Yep.
And it's perfect because it leaves you wondering what the
happened?
Hell just happened.
There's a lot of shots where we get POV and then we see Jimmy Stewart's reaction. And then POV. So it's a lot of like shot and reaction. And that's tough to do as an actor, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, well, especially he's not reacting to anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the thing is that he's not, while they're filming, he's not watching these people in real time across from him. He's on the soundstage looking at absolutely nothing, and so he's reacting to nothing. And yet you completely buy that he's watching these characters.
Exactly.
And of course the editing has to do with that too, but his acting is just so great.
It's interesting too that there's not really a score in this movie.
I was just going to bring that out too.
But the score is really the piano music that is played, or just the alley music, or the courtyard music, or just the atmosphere.
The music playing from different apartments.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to bring it up now because you're talking about no music, the ending. The finale has no music. There's no suspense music, which is great because a lot of times filmmakers tend to rely too much on music to tell the audience what's happening and how to feel. And again, a great director understands you don't need to do that. And so he has no music. And it brings so much more tension when there's no music, because what you're hearing the footsteps of the guy coming up the stairs and getting closer and closer to his apartment door while James Stewart is freaking out, trying to find a place to hide, trying to find a place to go. He even tries to get up off his wheelchair and he realizes he can't walk. And then he grabs the flash from his camera and uses that to try to blind him, to try to...
Oh, man. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and I love the POV shot. Every time he takes the flash goes off and the POV shot from the guy, and it's orange, and then it's it's like a photograph almost coming into picture, and just great tension building with that.
Absolutely, a lot of people say this is their favorite Hitchcock.
Really?
That's one thing I did see that stood out.
I'll tell you at the end of this video. I'll tell you what my favorite Hitchcock is.
Okay, me too.
Well, I'll just read a couple. First of all, Rotten Tomatoes. I wanted to bring this out. 98% for reviewer rating and 95% audience rating, which is pretty good.
I think it's like 8.1 on IMDb, which is really solid.
Yeah.
And a lot of top 25, top 100 lists.
So some of these reviews I agree with 100%. From 2025, so just recently in May, actually, says this stands the test of time. It really is what cinema should be. It's entertaining. It's contemplative, gripping, and beautiful. Highly recommended. 5 stars. 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Thomas, another one from 2025, says, I rewatch this film whenever I want a reminder of what great writing, directing, and filmmaking is. Alfred Hitchcock is a craftsman in his art, just like Spielberg, Scorsese, in filmmaking, and can achieve and do absolutely anything. An absolute must-see. Would you put Spielberg in the same category as Hitchcock?
I would
as far as a filmmaker.
I would say Spielberg is heavily influenced by Hitchcock, and yeah, definitely would say they're both legend. But particularly the camera work, especially in this film, reminded me of what Spielberg has done in his films. The way the camera kind of floats and visual storytelling. I got to say too, the set is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Considering this movie is like 75 years old, I don't know how old it's old.
Yeah.
It's an older film.
70 years ago.
Yeah.
We're too lazy to count.
70 years old, and that looks like a real apartment courtyard to me.
Oh yeah.
The brick is stained. There's bi-levels. The grass looks real. Flower bed. The sounds, and the only thing I could think of was like nobody uses their blinds, and I was thinking, well, maybe because they don't have air conditioning.
Oh, exactly, and that's another thing. Hitchcock may have thought of that because you had to have a reason why he's watching these people throughout the day and night. You can't watch them if the blinds are shut. So what's the solution to that? Well, it's the hottest summer of the year. Everyone has their windows open and their blinds open. So perfect excuse of why he's able to watch everyone.
On the special features, his documentary, it's an older documentary. It was I'm sure it was on DVD and Blu-ray as well, but they go into how the set had 4 different lighting schemes that Hitchcock preset before they shot. It was like a twilight, nighttime, daytime, and like dusk.
Oh wow!
So like he could flip a switch and go to those presets.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was cool.
That's cool, man. Can you imagine the prep time on this movie? Oh man, it must.
But it's all in that one location, which is brilliant.
Yeah. The only thing that might seem a little bit obviously that's as a stage is the sunset. You can tell that's a painting. Maybe some of the when Grace Kelly goes down the alleyway and you see the background with the obviously that looks right. I don't know if that's a projection shot or what because there's cars moving, but
they might have had like just a road back there that they had cars run through. Another thing too is the original short story didn't have the girlfriend in it, didn't have the nurse character.
Really?
Yeah, it just was straight up him going crazy watching the neighbors. And another thing in the documentary too, they said Hitchcock never took a writing credit, but he was heavily involved in plotting his movies.
Oh wow! Now, I'm kind of curious to read the short story to see the differences. I wonder how much more obsessive and kind of mad he gets in the short story.
True.
One thing I like too is as he gets more and more obsessed watching. It's first it starts out with him watching on his wheelchair. Then it goes to binoculars. Then he has this huge telephonic lens, this huge honking lens that he has to hold against his knee for the weight.
And then near the end, Stella has her own pair of binoculars.
Yeah.
And everybody gets involved in the obsession.
Yeah, which is great. And then the ending, when he throws James Stewart or tries to throw him off the balcony. I mean, it's done so well, and you could tell. And being an editor, I'm sure you could tell too, how they edit it really quickly, so you didn't see that it was clearly a dummy that was being tossed over. The way it was edited real quick. Another thing I noticed too is that they cranked up the speed of people running out.
I saw that. Yeah.
It was pretty funny. And I actually never noticed that before until this 4K. So I think it was something more noticeable on the 4K with that. But yeah, I mean, then when James Stewart falls, and you have the rear, I don't know how they did it,
Yeah.
but they mimic the same thing in North by Northwest or is it North by Northwest or Vertigo when he falls in the beginning.
Vertigo.
Yeah, and so Hitchcock used the same tricks but done differently, where it still looked fresh. Do you have any favorite scenes?
One scene that I forgot about, and I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely like, I think it's like the most impactful for the film, or one of them that really ties everybody into this one moment. It's when the dog is murdered.
Oh yeah.
Like then all the characters are like, they're all together observing this one thing
Right.
for the first time in the whole film.
Yeah, they all come together.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I forgot about this scene completely.
Yeah.
So I knew the dog part where he was digging in the bushes and stuff, but I totally forgot about the dog dying.
Everybody loves a dog.
And I was waiting for John Wick to show up.
James Stewart, John Wick.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm coming again.
It's interesting too, just kind of the blocking in this film.
Oh yeah.
When Grace Kelly and James Stewart are sharing scenes, the blocking's interesting because she wants to get married and he doesn't. He's hesitant, and they give reasons and such. So their blocking is great, and then you add in that detective guy showing up.
Mm-hmm.
His apartment was just interesting too. He had this weird stair.
Yeah.
3 stairs and then the door.
And the stairs probably don't go anywhere.
Oh, probably not.
But yeah, I've noticed that too. Like his apartment is really awkwardly laid out.
Yeah.
And that might have been in order to lay it out that way for, to block and use the camera. Because
I also love the scene too where Grace Kelly is investigating the apartment.
Oh yes.
Away.
Yes.
And, yeah, there's a whole police chase, or not the police show up and get her out of there,
and that was really suspenseful too.
Yes.
Is when Grace Kelly tries to go into the room and the killer's in the next room, and yeah, I mean, and then you see James Stewart sweating bullets, and I mean, I love it though when they were when him and his nurse, is it nurse?
Yes.
Yeah, they start putting together money for bail. It's like, I'm going to no, that's not going to take it. We need more than that. But yeah,
there's some great one-liners in this too.
Oh yeah, James Stewart. I love a scene here. It's my favorite scene of the whole movie. I crack up every time. And that's when James Stewart and Grace Kelly, they're making out, getting hot and heavy, and he's so obsessed with the neighbor and what's happened that while she's trying to make out with him, he starts saying, well, why do you think that man, what was it? That man left. Oh yeah. Why would a man leave a department 3 times with a suitcase and come back 3 times?
At 1 a.m.
And then he says, and then it gets kind of dark. He's like, that's interesting about the butcher knife and a small saw wrapped in newspaper. I'm like, dude, kind of ruined the moment here. and then she just kind of gives up, and she's like, okay, talk to me, tell me what's going on.
And there's that whole dynamic too where she's staying the night, and then the detective comes in and sees the suitcase, and he's like, I see what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think James Stewart does like some throwaway one-liner that says, that would be hard to tackle. How would one cut up a dead body? Like questioning himself. Like how would one actually go about doing that? Or maybe Grace Kelly said that. I think Grace Kelly may have said that. But either way, it's just great lines, great dialogue in this movie. The banter between Grace Kelly and James Stewart is just hilarious. And it feels so real. It doesn't feel like they're acting. It feels very real.
Who was the best performance in this movie for you?
Oh man, that's so hard because everyone gave such great performances. I mean, I want to say James Stewart, but then Grace Kelly was so good in this as well. And, you can't take your eyes off of her.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's such class to this movie too.
Yeah.
The way the set is, the costumes, the way that it's filmed. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about it that we don't have anymore.
Well, a classic. I mean, it's this classic film.
And maybe it's just the way people dressed back then. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just something.
Yeah.
There's just a certain style.
Definitely the time period.
Yeah.
In the 50s and 60s, it was just a lot more class and a lot more style. And then what we had in, say, what was it? I don't remember the year, but Christopher Reeve remade 1998. Christopher Reeve remade Rear Window as a TV movie.
The poor guy.
He
was actually paralyzed too.
On one hand, that's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking too.
And it's kind of brilliant too because he is paralyzed. He can't get out of his chair, so it does make a little bit more suspense. But I don't know if you've seen the movie.
I haven't seen it. I saw the trailer this morning. Ugh.
Yeah, I saw it when it first aired, and it is bad. It is really bad. Christopher Reeve is good in it, but it's not a good movie. It goes to show you can't not remake a classic film.
There was it's pretty close remake, Disturbia. It's with Shia LaBeouf and I believe Spielberg produced that one.
He did, yeah. Well, when that film came out, I remember I don't know if it's Siskel and Ebert, but I remember critics saying that it's a loose remake of Rear Window, and it was good. I thought it was pretty good. I like
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I bought the Blu-ray. Yeah, I thought it did really good. Shia LaBeouf is good in it, and so yeah, it has similarities in it. But I guess that's the best that's the best way to remake a movie without remaking it. Yeah. Is get the same plot but completely or same, what do you call it? The same story.
Yeah, it was like house arrest instead of an accident.
Yeah. Unlike the remake of Psycho that was just shot for shot. And Vince Vaughn. Oh man.
In color, right?
Have you seen that?
No, I heard it was good though.
No, it's not. Okay. No, it's not good. Gus Van Sant. Oh man, it is bad. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's bad. I guess maybe now people look back on it and think, "Oh, this was fun," but it's not a good movie.
I heard the actual Psycho sequels are not terrible.
Psycho 2 is actually pretty good, and Psycho 3 I thought was actually pretty good too. 4 was bad, not good, and that was a direct-to-TV movie. But yeah, there's a friend of mine. There's a friend of the channel too, The Anxious Hobbit, and I was telling when we announced that we were doing this movie with my live show a couple of days ago or whenever. She actually texted me and said that she had some things she wanted to say about it. So
okay.
Like, sure. Because she actually, I don't know if she went to film school, but she did a film class, and she actually wrote a paper about
excellent
Rear Window. So just real quick here. Basically the same thing we were talking about. She says that it had a significant impact on filmmaking, particularly in how it explored themes of voyeurism, suspense within a confined setting, and basically demonstrates how a story can be compellingly told with a single confined space. And it also heavily influenced several films directed by Brian De Palma, including Hi Mom, Sisters, Dress to Kill, and Body Double. I didn't really think about that until I got this text message from her. I mean, absolutely.
Heavy De Palma.
Yeah, 100%. And she says that it's beyond its entertainment value, the film also serves as a social commentary on human nature, identity, and gender roles, which Hitchcock explores through his distinctive directorial style and set design. So yeah, I 100% agree with everything that she said.
Do you think Hitchcock sort of influenced the Italian giallo as well?
No, I don't think so.
Because when I think giallo, I think De Palma as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously giallo influenced De Palma, but giallo was really its own genre in Italy before it became.
Right.
It was the director of Suspiria. What's his name?
Argento.
He's the one that actually popularized it, where it became kind of more mainstream and came over to America. So yeah, so I want to say that Hitchcock influenced it, because it was a whole separate thing over in Italy. Oh, okay. One also what I loved about the ending is how both James Stewart and the killer are in shadows.
Yeah.
They're both in shadows. As soon as the killer walks through the door, he's in complete shadow. And James Stewart is in shadow as they're hiding from each other.
Not only is he in shadow, he doesn't say anything back to him, and the killer's like, "Say something."
Yeah. Well, it's cool. I love it because it's like they're using shadow to try to hide from each other, like a protection from each other. When obviously that's not going to work. But what other choice did James Stewart have? But using that flash and hide in the shadow. And so I loved how Hitchcock did that as well. And then, like what you said, the film is shot from the main character's perspective. And I said, allowing the story to be simultaneously revealed to both the protagonists, but also us as the audience. So yeah, this is just a masterclass of suspense filmmaking. Another one from Hitchcock. I was surprised that you chose this as our first movie, but I was also very happy you did. Because I love talking about Hitchcock.
I thought you were gonna be like, no, that's over talk. That's like Jaws. Don't come on.
No, no. I love Hitchcock. I'll talk about Hitchcock like I would talk about Spielberg every day, all the time.
I was wanting to rewatch this film. It had been over 10 years since I've seen it.
Oh, really?
And I was nervous going into it last night. I was like, is this going to be boring? Is this going to be aged?
Well, according to some of the comments, it was.
Yeah. But no, for me, it's still great. And
let me ask you this question.
Yeah, ask me a question.
Do you think that someone like me and you, enjoy this movie more because we have that filmmaker intuitiveness, that filmmaker mindset, than say a 19-year-old kid that's just watching it, or someone in their 20s that
it'd be an interesting study to do. Like if you took away their cell phone, put them in a theater, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 hours. I bet they would like it.
Well, that reminds me just now of when I saw Jaws in the theater a couple years ago, and there was a family sitting behind us. It was, I guess, two parents, their son, and then his fiance. The reason I know that is because I talked to him afterwards.
Yeah.
Because the reason I talked to him afterwards is because the fiance said, "Wow, that was really good. I didn't think it'd be that good. I've never seen it before. I always thought it would be boring since it was made in the 70s. I didn't think it'd be that good." So afterwards, I talked to them. I'm like, "So this is your first time seeing it, right?" And she said, "Yes." And she said, "I was impressed, super surprised how good the movie is." So I think so many people, especially when you're watching at home, I mean, I do it too. I'm guilty as charged as anyone else that I start looking at my phone while I'm watching a movie or TV show. It's like become a habit.
There's so many distractions.
Yeah, and so I, like you said, I think that if they took away the phone and sat them down and actually watched the movie, I think they would like it a lot better than what some of these comments were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it moves pretty fast, and it's got great sound design. Like you said, if they had used the original score, it would have been corny probably by now.
Yeah. Really,
a lot of those westerns have corny music,
and really the only score it had was the opening.
Yeah.
With the Paramount logo and the credits, and then the ending.
Yeah.
And I love the ending. Ending ends on a perfect note where it reveals he's now in two casts.
Yeah.
But
he's happier.
He's happier, and are they married, or were they?
They're definitely living together. I think.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were married or not, but yeah, they're definitely happier.
That's the thing. The critic earlier talking about how he's such a mean character or snobby,
which I don't understand.
You put yourself in this situation, you're going to be angry, you're going to be upset, you're going to be irritated.
Yeah.
If I had a cast and I can't itch, I got to itch myself and sweating, and all I can do is stare out my window. I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call someone a jerk or a snobby though, but I don't know. Yeah, when I read that, I'm like, what? Where did you get that from?
What was your rating on Rear Window? How did you? I'm assuming you liked it, but you know, let's get your little.
Oh yeah, I mean, I always rate things between a 1 and a 5, so it's a 5. I mean, obviously it's a 5. I love the movie. Everything that we talked about without rehashing everything all over again. Still stands, and I mean, it's Hitchcock, man. You can't go wrong with Hitchcock. I mean, even some of his worst movies like The Birds. The Birds isn't a great movie, but it's still really damn good and suspenseful. Yeah. So what's your score?
Oh, 5 out of 5, no doubt. Yeah. I really felt like rewatching it after I watched it this time. I will say too, this movie is like a lot sexier than I remember too. Like there's a lot of kissing in it. There's beautiful women.
James Stewart.
Oh, there's Hitchcock humor in there.
James Stewart gets me hot and bothered every day. When he's sweating, I'm sweating. Time for the title review for our next episode 2 of Two Guys in a Movie. And this is my pick. I picked a movie that you haven't seen, and that is Jacob's Ladder. And look at just that artwork alone.
That looks painful.
And like I told you before, I always hear about things being a fever dream. You haven't seen a fever dream until you've seen this movie.
Okay.
I'll just say that. I mean, it is insane. Yeah, so I can't wait I'm really anxious to talk about that one. Okay. So that will be next Friday. It'll be up on this channel. So make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment. Also, leave your comments on your thoughts on Rear Window. And also, if you guys have a movie you would like us to talk about, leave that in the comments as well, and we'll add it to the list.
Check it out on 4K. It's definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, because it's Technicolor, looks great. Universal did a great job at restoring it. Okay. Favorite before we leave. Favorite Hitchcock movie. What is yours?
It's Rear Window.
Rear Window.
Yeah.
Mine is Vertigo.
Okay.
I've always loved Vertigo. Vertigo is always my go-to.
Maybe season 3, Vertigo.
And I would say next is North by Northwest. Strangers on a Train. Dial M for Murder.
I like To Catch a Thief as well.
To Catch a Thief. Yeah, that just came out in 4K. Yeah. Beautiful 4K.
I want to pick that up. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have to do a Hitchcock month. That would be fun.
I didn't know you were such a fan of Hitchcock. I really thought you were going to be like, this is so lame.
Really?
Talk about this movie all the time. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Oh, I love Hitchcock.
But I was in the mood to watch it again.
I love Hitchcock. Yeah. Yeah, guys. So I'm interested to see what Dan has to say about Jacob's Ladder. So that is a deep movie, and I'm really curious to hear. I'm just ready to sit back and hear what you have to say about it. Take over the video.
Well, we'll find out next week.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also subscribe to our social media accounts because I do a lot of updates there. All right, man. Well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. It was a good conversation. Always happy to talk about Hitchcock. And we'll see you guys next week. And we won't take 3 years to air episode 2. We'll see you in 2028. Every 3 years we'll post. Exactly. 80 years old still posting. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you guys later.